Hey there, mechanics of the Ark. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens. Episode 92. Return to the cold and dark days. It's nice to have a bunch of Devil Strand, 300 Devil Strand out of that farm. That at least is paid off. And I think what I'll do is I'll wait for a Slotus to finish with his biosculpting, and then do the festival, and then him go back through a regen cycle. So that we have more attendance. Pilgrim Festival Day, exactly. Seems to me that we are relatively low on NPM. And then tracking our power usage, due to the shutdown of that northern tunnel, we are using about 2200 watts. I have... So I have about 10 days of power stored in my batteries, but I need like 19 days of oh man, can we do this? I might need to finesse the arc drive, but it's not going to be ready for 20 days. Just because I don't think that there's much else I can turn off. I mean, I can start to turn off the heaters and... So in terms of our stored power, right? We have 21,000 stored power. And the 21,000 stored power needs to last for roughly 20 days, which means I need to use about 1,000 watts per day at most. I think what I'm going to do is start to shut down the heaters in the rec room and the tube television, which is not necessary. So now our power usage is... it's less, but not... it's not on target. This biosculptor will eventually be off, but that's only 200 watts. That's a... That's a portion of the equation, but not a... not a very significant one. I think all the heaters in the main courtyard I'm going to flick off too. Meaning it's really going to be cold in the main area, and we can sort of sequester in the barracks. Basically, the barracks is going to be the only heated area in the base at this point. All right, so we are down to... Actually, we're about on power... Oh, sorry, bumped my mic. We're about on power target usage. So once the biosculptor pod and this space heater's off, I think we're okay. I'll do a recalculation in a bit. Could I use a fire in a rec room? I could. I'm just very low on combustibles. I only have 135 coal, and I don't... Do I even have wood? I don't even have wood. So I could do that, but I would need to deep drill for wood even to get the fires going. It might be worth trying to, because one deep drill is about the same power cost as one heater, is to deep drill the wood and then to use campfires for heat in the barracks. I think that will be a net benefit to us. So to that end, I'm going to enact that plan. We'll have a miner going to produce our heat from drill power. I know the heater's on in here. This is for the festival. It needs to be on, or we're not going to be able to host in 8 hours. I think they just got hypothermia from being in the rec room. Researching in the rec room. Yeah, there are a few lights on in here. It's true. 30 watts there. I want to keep the rec room lit, but what I'll probably end up doing is being able to build campfires. So let's go ahead and playing campfires here. Once we have the wood. And then we'll replace the heaters in here with campfires. I know, it's hypothermic. Go somewhere warmer. There you go. Alright, Slotus is almost out. And with the Slotus out, it is time to do the Pilgrim Festival so that we can turn off the Pilgrim Room once we're done. God, stupid music. Well, we're stuck with it. Zeusin is spying on the Pilgrim Festival. Music's so out of place? Yeah, it is. It's horrible. I should have installed a mod. Cathanon made a mod which is individual sound sliders, and I should enable that to turn off the ritual music, because it's god awful. Can deep drills find uranium? No, that's not how the game works. See to keep, thank you for the bits, and I'm glad you enjoyed the festival. Alright, so the point of this fire is a light source for the miner, plus heat for the miner. Fishpick is researching? What world are we in? And we're starting to build the other campfires, allowing us to power down. So, right now, I am going to try to get a Slotus through this cycle. Which is a crazy time to do it, but like... It's a 9-day cycle, and we have 18 days of low power mode, so like... whatever. And I think what I want to do is only have my best miners be mining right now. Because I don't need slow miners slowing up the process. Because I only really have one deep drill up. But every space heater that we can replace with a campfire is a huge benefit to us. Where are you going with that wood? I like how Axios was like, haha, I smuggled the wood away, and then... Alright, so our current power usage is under 1,000 watts. Which means that we, hypothetically, have enough power generation to last the low power mode. Low food, yeah, I see that. Good call. Let's get the NPM... temporarily back on to batch up some food. Okay, there we go. Food for all. NPM production makes your neurons tingle. It is an interesting rapid fire snare drum beat. And then once we have enough deep drilled wood for the bedrooms, I can also add some in the general area for heat around the ark so that we don't have such hypothermia just wander around our home. Obviously, timing this so that I was going to do the low power mode in the summer would have been best. That's just not what the cards had for me. One in the cards. Okay, these bedrooms are tolerable. They're not warm, but they're tolerable. So the next one will be, let's say, a campfire here. Campfire here. And these campfires are to try to illuminate the space so that we're not in darkness. So 3 campfires in the core should be pretty good. Now that's what I was worried about, is battery breakdowns. There's really nothing I can do about that. It's just a chance. But as batteries break down, obviously my stored power drops. So let's hope I don't have too many battery breakdowns as we head to 0 fuel. God, it's negative 85 Celsius out. Oh, just intolerable. It's only a mild cold. Don't go in there. I think we're going to need maybe another campfire for the bedrooms too. I don't botch. Come on, man. We don't have a lot of wood to spare. I'm going to guess, actually, at this point, the amount of fuel that we burn is about the same as we dig up from the deep drill. So I think we're in like a net neutral wood quantity situation, meaning I probably ought not to add any more campfires unless it's absolutely necessary. Because it is 10 wood per day. Exactly. And I have 11 campfires, so we would need like 100 wood per day, which is probably roughly what we get from the deep drill. So I'm going to hold off on adding any more power need. What I can do in this case is close doors that we don't need open. And then possibly I'm going to create a new zone. This will be the power down zone. And the power down zone is going to keep my people in the warm spots of the base only. So I don't really have to worry about their hypothermia. And they also won't be swinging doors open so that it stays as warm as possible. Is there... And this leaves the council hall and the union hall alone. But I think there's nowhere else they really need to be, because I don't really need to go into the stock room for anything. So I think this zone is fine. They actually might need to swap out clothing if their clothing gets tattered. Oh, and the NPM, yeah. I'll let them in the kitchen. Alright, we are using only 500 watts, right? thereabouts. 400 watts, something like that. New lovers, Bryzit and Zeusin. Was not expecting that. Sheep, you sleep here now? Closing the vents. And forbidding the door. It's just less bedrooms we have to heat, so, like, I guess there's that. Why aren't my drillers drilling? So we're still in grid excess of 1600 watts. And we've got 16 days left of this low power mode. It's crazy to see such a large colony shut down so significantly. Very interesting, the Nutrifungus does not care that it's cold. I didn't realize that it didn't die off due to cold like all the other crops. So this is just chilling. And the pun was unintended. I just realized it was a pun. So the center of the base is about negative 49 Celsius compared to the negative 95? When did it get that cold? Oh my god! Dear Lord. That is ridiculous. You know, I gotta be this color. Let's not lie to ourselves. That is frigid. What in the hell? Yikes. Don't go outside, guys. Your frostbite will get frostbite. The good news is, the only work there is really to be done in the base right now is refueling campfires. So let's have the gather spot campfire be the one here in the rec room. Yeah, well, if anyone attacks, they'll freeze to death well before they are a threat to us. There is there is truth to that for sure. I don't really need a set schedule. Well, so set schedule for work. The thing is, when they have nothing else to do, they're just gonna like rec read anyway. And if I change their schedules, what will end up happening is I'll have to change them back, which would be really annoying, and I can't like snapshot it. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. Yeah, the way the scheduling works is interesting, where, it's actually pretty complicated. Like, if someone's scheduled to sleep, but their sleep fulfillment is above a certain threshold, I think it's 70% or something like that, they won't bother sleeping. It will be, it's counted as like a do anything. And there's a lot of nuance like that. Same with, like, if you set them for pure recreation, but their recreation meters are filled, they won't recreate anymore. So, the scheduling is more of a suggestion than, like, a requirement in many cases, except for scheduling for work is more like work, don't sleep. Is low power mode a mission for my completing? Yes, that's been answered in the chat a whole bunch. Like just a minute ago. But I'll reiterate again. In order to upgrade our, and let me hide my face because I know my face is in the way for this. In order to upgrade our arc, install a chamber that allows you to slow down the decay rate of uranium, allowing it to generate power for a longer time. Uranium-powered arc needs to be restarted. To do that, it needs to burn all the uranium and shut down due to a lack of fuel. The way we upgrade our arc is we have to have a low-power, low-fuel, forced shutdown. Right? So in order to, and the goal of this series is to have a fully upgraded arc. So we have to have a low power shutdown to upgrade this arc. But the way the uranium powered arc works is it generates fuel, or generates power rather, based upon the amount of fuel that's loaded in. So in order to go to zero fuel, it also means it's going to zero power. So this whole like low power shutdown mode it's so that we can prepare for essentially our generator producing no power. So the power output here, as you can see, is constantly going down. You know, it's constantly decreasing as the uranium runs out. But this is a requirement of upgrading the arc, so it has to be done. I could have waited for the spring, but I'm impatient, and I can definitely survive it in the winter. And one of the advantages of doing it in the winter is if raiders attack us, well, the cold temperatures will kill the raiders just as much as it's affecting us too. Is biphasic scheduling still a thing in RimWorld? It is. I just don't use it. I don't care for it. And it does have some drawbacks. Biphasic schedules don't work on really large colonies, like this one. Because if they're going to work twice a day, it means they're commuting twice as much. And if they're commuting twice as much and the commute's really long, that's really inefficient. Additionally, on a map tile like this one, where it is much colder at night than it is during the day, you want people working when it's warm. Because being outside, like the 20 degrees Celsius difference could be literally life or death in this colony versus like a temperate zone. So there's a lot of problems with biphasic schedules. And to that end, I generally play on extreme temperatures and generally play on larger map tiles. So biphasic schedules where they, you know, where they sleep twice a day rather than once a day doesn't work for me for those reasons. Yeah, you're right. I can turn off these lights in the rec room. Or light. There was only one. So yeah, to answer your question, it is still a thing, and it can be useful. It just absolutely would not be useful for me, given ambient temperatures and commute times. Ooh, look at that. We got 50 wood, so that's enough to fuel about half of our campfires. And a Slotus will be out in 6.5 days. It's only taking 200 watts. So, like, a Slotus's pod is like half the wattage of our entire base. Because the only other things we have on right now is the deep drill. Right? No, there's something else on. What else is on? Because there's a 500 watt... Oh, it's this hull light. These hull lights. Oh, another freaking battery. Fine. Okay, so power down zone. We will... Let's see. I'm just going to allow the individual battery and the individual component bench. And only when it needs to be repaired. There we go. So it's 400 watts, and we know exactly where those 400 watts are. It's a Slotus's pod and the deep drill. One might argue, and I guess that one will be me in this case, that as long as we have grid access, getting another deep drill for more wood, like, may not be a bad idea. Just to stockpile in combustibles to keep us warm. So I'm having a Fang Face go scoop that up. So we can double our wood production. Because this is only about a day's worth of fuel for the fires. So now I'm using 600 watts, but we still have a plenty of grid excess. And I could even move the gold deep drill over, but I don't think I really need to. I think two drillers is fine. We do need more paste, though, yeah. There we go. Oh, lost us a bit. Maybe we get some more relationships with all the downtime? Maybe. Oh, speaking of which, Bryzit probably needed to be on a night owl schedule. Because Zeuson's a night owl, so they'll sleep and overlap only if they're both on the same sleep schedule. It only just occurred to me. And how is their relationship? Pretty strong. 76-89? Yeah, that's not bad at all. I wonder, like, if you're ever in this situation where you have, like, forced downtime for, like, 2 weeks, but there's nothing to do, how absolutely anxiety-provoking it might be. I'm going to enable the TV until we can't spare the wattage, just as a an alternative power source, or a rec source, rather. We don't have the components for flat screens, though. So, 5 more days on a Slotus. I don't see any mood issues. I was considering, because of the 2 deep drills, I could do more campfires in the core of the base. But no one's upset enough about sleeping in the cold that it makes a problem. Make art in the rec room. That's not a bad idea. Which is another way of saying that is a good idea. It's an unpowered production. As long as I had my streams, the 2 weeks would fly by. I wonder how many hours of content I have on the interwebs now. Alright, artists. Sheep is the best, so sheep. What kind of sculptures do we want? Limestone's beauty is neutral. Slate's beauty is 10% better. So slate art. Made by sheep. Have at it, dude. Fishpick knows what's up. He's like, oh, nothing to do? Boob tube time. We're gonna have so much art. I forgot that zoning was wrong on JD. I am surprised we haven't had more relationships. We only have 3 relationships in this entire colony. Fishpick and Cardinal Winter and Wishbringer, Zeusin and Bryzant, and Zeusin and Bryzant only just happened, because we did have a bunch of divorces. We are at about peak cold, I would say. It's mid-winter now. Midday, it's like negative 80 Celsius, so it really doesn't get much worse than that. And these poor pilgrims are probably like, oh, everyone else has downtime, and here we are, like, toiling on the drills. Yep. Now they like dumb labor. Who am I kidding? They're actually quite happy about it. Passion for your work, and there's probably dumb labor somewhere in there. The nuclear reactor should be warm? Yeah. Embrace the love of Adam. And we have 2 weeks left, or 14 fuel left. Grid excess is still above 0, so the battery that did break got replaced. Given that I've done the math, I know we're going to have enough power. It would require a bunch of these batteries to just explode for us to fail this. But yeah, these are weird lean times, I must say. I'll haul the firewood to a more central position. Did they have access to the stockroom? Oh, so there's wood in here that they can't even gain access to. Got it. That's not good. Circling back to the start of the colony. Very cold and terrible food. I mean, we've mostly had terrible food this whole time. The pilgrims briefly had the ability to consume meals with insect meat, but I don't think that that's good food. That's just food as far as they're concerned. Yeah, that's a pretty good amount of stockpiled wood, I will say. So we're down to 700 watts excess, 1500 watts produced. I wonder if we're going to get raided again. It's been roughly the appropriate amount of time. I'm sure I jinxed myself, but... Oh, soothe. That's a bad sign if I know signs. Sheep, let's take you off of mining. You are the artist after all. It's funny, Trek, right as you say that I did that. What is that? That looks like a gyroscope, maybe? A freedom. On this work is an artwork of a squid wearing a belt. What is it, Squidward? The surrealistic style of the central scene clashes with the purest depiction of the background. As an interesting contrast, 5 dragons appear on the lower part of the image. Yes. Dragon squid art. I see, said the blind man peeing in the wind. Yeah, I think adorning around our uranium reactor makes the most sense. I'm going to keep it where it is. And I'm going to work drive sheep. So this, the cold dark times of this era are, enshrined in art. I mean, this piece at least makes more sense than the camaraderie of Fred. I don't think we've ever had a Fred. This piece depicts the sky illuminated in reds and blacks. How can you illuminate a sky in blacks? I'm sorry, what? But okay. Illuminating a gorge. There is no dragon in sight. What's with all the dragon art? This kind of reminds me of how, in the medieval times, there's a bunch of depictions of knights on horseback fighting snails, and we have no idea why that is, like, at all. There's just so many references to knights fighting snails, and it's like an ancient meme, and we don't know why. So there's so many references to dragons here. Why? I don't know. Maybe they picture dragons as the embodiment of cold. At the edge of the image are two pumpkins. The overall composition is focused. The depiction refers to the time polar light showed over Fred's village. What the hell is Fred's village? What? What? There is no Fred's village. It's totally made up. Got it. How about some of the other art? Because purple intestines. This piece is shaped like an empty sandal. Okay. Robber. This sculpture bears the image of a heart surrounded by cones. The work is infused with the idea of harmony, and it's done in a classical style. In addition to that, the image is bordered by two bakers. So, heart, cones, and bakers. Codex 9v1. On this carving is a portrayal of Cardinal huddled beside a bluff with her face slowly turning blue. Oh, great. It's her hypothermia. Who made this? Sheep made it. So Sheep made art of Cardinal freezing to death. Brilliant. Love it. How about this one? The Union Hall sculpture. Oh yeah, this won't have anything. On this carving is an image of a desert. A chemist fades in the distance. Say my name. Council Hall sculpture. What is this one? On the sculpture is an illustration of 1,000 cowboys and weavers eating turnips together. What? The work conveys the emotion of torture. Yes, the torture turnips. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow Frostwardens.